All right. So, Bigman, Hare Krishna. So we'll go with the lesson. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Vishnu Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhakadamai Tanmati Swapadantikam Mantri Shri Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Jata Sagata Vitam Tam Sadiva Sadhuitam Sadhutam Panchana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagata Dita Sri Sakha Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Uttare Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatayane Namo Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Murti Gaurava He Krishna Karuna Sindhu He Krishna Jagate Gopesha Gopika Tanta Namastute Aptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavadishwari Vishvanusude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gauranga Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. We'll continue from in the section one, the second part, which is Gyan Sankhya. We are towards the end. So till where we have covered 27. So we'll quickly go last class very quickly. Okay. In Bhagavad Gita 2.25, it was Avanto Achintyo Achintyoyam Avikaryoyam Avikaryoyam Uchyate Tasmad Evam Vidivayam Viditvanam Nanusuchati Manasi. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconsumable, immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So we saw that it is invisible. We cannot see it. The size is so small. Right? Inconceivable. It's not easy to understand the soul. It's a lot of people gets confused. We'll discuss that again today in detail. The same thing. But it's not easy to perceive because of the size and also how it works. And then immutable. It changes from one body to another, still the size does not change. So it is immutable. So we saw that it is that small that even the world's strongest microscope cannot see the soul. Right? Yes. It's a material instrument and also due to size. Right? Even if it was material, even the microscope can see spiritual. The size is so small that it cannot see that. Right? The dots you are seeing are atoms. Right? Each atom, and that is even way smaller than each atom. Then, if we can't see, then what is the way to understand? So we discussed Pratyaksh Praman, Anuman Praman, Sabda Praman. And we decided that because we cannot see, so we need to understand it from someone who has experienced it. I cannot say who has seen it, right? At least here. But who have understood it, who about the soul, how it works, right? So that is a bona fide authority, and that is Shabda Praman. And we discussed that spiritual practices are not meant to become gods. Like sometimes people say that we are God. The soul is equal to super soul, right? Atma hi Brahman hai. That means, in a way, at the end you are saying that we will become God. Right. But we are not, spiritual practices are not meant to be become gods. Right. Not everyone will become God, but it is meant to become gods. God ke apostrophe yes, yes. And God ke kya? Servants. Right. So spiritual practices are meant to become, it is meant to become servants of the God. And then we discuss that the same qualities of soul coming again and again and again, why this is happening. Right. And we saw that this happens in our scripture. This is a very common thing. We discuss Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Eva Kelam, Kalev Naste, Eva Naste, Eva Naste, Eva Gate Radhate. When something is very important, it is emphasized more time. And then only it will enter into our mind. Right. वरना तुम गधे ऐसे नहीं घुसता है. So that's why Krishna is again and again and again telling the same thing to Arjun. Right. And still he is not, he's confused. We'll see that later. Right? He still his doubts were not cleared. So three times when we say it is for the emphasis. Then what was the takeaway? What was the takeaway? To chant. Okay. So it was the takeaway was mm, yeah, that we have to decide, or we have to have a certain set of spiritual practices which we are following daily. Right? It's not like today I'm doing this, tomorrow I'll do this, the other day I'll do this. Because once we keep on doing again and again and again, practice makes man perfect, right? Then only we get the taste of it and we can actually able to release and appreciate it better. So that's why one thing is chanting. Right? It is not just to understand the chanting God's name, but yes, due to repeated chanting, continuous chanting, only we can get the Harinam ka taste. Otherwise, it's not possible. So that was the takeaway, to have consistent chanting at consistent time. Right, we discussed that also. We should try to have at least some rounds when the mental traffic is the least. And what is that time? Early morning, right? Not that morning जब बच्चों की बस आती है, फिर तो नहीं होगा. Right? उससे पहले, बच्चों के उठने से पहले, नवीन सो रहा होता है, चैंटिंग खत्म. या जितनी माला कर सकते हैं, right? Otherwise, yeah, it, only what we will be doing, just mechanical repetition of words, will not be able to understand. Then in 2.26, if however you think that the soul or the symptoms of life, right, will always be born and die forever, you will still have no reason to lament. Right. So here Krishna is saying, even if you don't want to understand about the soul, that it is eternal, it will never, it is never born, it is never going to die. Right. You are thinking that soul is something which gets born and die. Then also you don't have any reason to lament. Right. So Srila Prabhupada gave two examples of two kinds of people. Lokai, Lokayatikas, right? Those are the atheistic people who have the philosophy like Yavat Jivet, Sukham Jivet, Redam Kritva Gritam Pivet, Bhaspe Bhutasya Dehe, Dehasya, Punargamanam, Punargamanam Kutam, right? मतलब किस, live life, have a king size, happily, right? Take, even if you have to take debt, you take debt, but drink only ghee. मतलब live an opulence life. Because after that, who has seen what body to जला दी जाएगी, body will get burned. Who has seen what will happen to that? So the people having YOLO philosophy or YOLO kind of life, you only live once, so enjoy at the fullest. They follow this kind of philosophy given by Charvak Muni. So that philosophy is the actually precursor or progenitor of the materialistic philosophy, mostly atheistic philosophy. So those kind of people, if they are, if they have this kind of understanding about the soul, about the life, then they don't have to worry. Anyway, कुछ होना तो है नहीं. मर जाएंगे तो क्या? किसने देखा? Right. So even they don't have to worry. And then the other types of people, like Buddhist and some other cults also, who believe in the soul, but then they think that the soul's existence gets over at the end of life. Like, soul is there. It is there until your body is there. Body finished, soul is over. Right? That means our existence finishes at the time of death. Essentially, it is a kind of same thing. Right? In other words, like they are also, if our soul finishes, that means there is no continuation of any of our karma, sins, and anything. Right? So it's you only live once. It's essentially the same thing in another way. So if someone is following that philosophy, they also don't have to worry because soul is anyway finished with the body. So why lamenting? So we discussed Darwin's theory of evolution and how it says that the life came from material, but there is not a single example in the world that life came from matter. Right? No one can do it. I was just hearing a lecture. In that, the Prabhuji he was saying that, or Maharaj, I don't remember. That even if you take example of cloning, no, it was Prabhu, Radheshyam Prabhu said it. So, even if you take example of cloning, people, scientists, or sometimes people can say, oh, man has now made a clone, so that means they are able to create a jeev from nothing. But it's not from nothing, right? Take out all the genetic material, the the stem cells using which that dolly clone or any other clone was prepared. Try preparing from scratch, right? From zero. It is like 99% work is already done by God. You are doing just 1% and you're saying I'm God. That's a foolishness. So the Darwin's theory of evolution is kind of not correct in that way because life does not come from matter. Life can only and only come from life. And the book written by Srila Prabhupada, Life Comes from Life, that has a detailed discussion about the same thing. Then in Bhagavad Gita 2.27, one who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, it is unavoidable discharge of your duty. You should not lament. So, Krishna is saying, anyone who has taken a birth will die, and after death, they will again come back. They will again take birth. So, you should not avoid your duties, but you should keep on following what is the prescribed duty for your world ashram. So we discussed that it does not mean that we can kill anyone because someone can say anyway. Bhagavad Gita says that someone who has taken birth they will die. So let's kill them. मरना तो है ही, अभी क्यों ना मारे? कभी तो मरना ही है. It does not mean that because why? Because it's not prescribed, it's not allowed, right? Who has given authority for us to kill? So we cannot kill anyone. And we discussed the life and death. This one will ignore that one. Certainty, life, death, and taxes. Right. So the same thing is mentioned here. And then at last we discussed that if the soul is so, if this concept of soul is so clear, it is so prominent, then why it is not mentioned in other religions? And we discussed actually it was mentioned in other religions about soul, reincarnation, karma, right? And how it was removed from time to time. This king is Constantine and his wife killed thousands of people at the same time to hide her past and just to so that people don't question her. She got those texts removed slowly. And many other religions. This is one prominent one. Slowly the things keeps on kept changing. So today the Bible we see is not exactly same as what it was in Hebrew at that time. And even God says that in Bible, Jesus says that in Bible that I have yet to tell a lot of things, but you cannot bear them. So in another one-off lecture, actually, Amog Lila Prabhu, he told that was one controversy that he told that Bible जहाँ से खत्म होती है वहाँ से भगवद गीता शुरू होती है. Right. So Bhagavad Gita is sequel of Bible. Before that, after that, there was a context, but जिसको प्रोपेगेंडा चलाना तो क्लिप केवल निकालता है जो आपकी बात होती है. And then it was like कि अमोघ लीला प्रभु इस्कॉन बोल रहा है कि बाइबल came first and then भगवद गीता came. So he had to come again clarify it was not chronological order, it was a knowledge wise order, right? From where your Bible finishes, a lot of things it is not told. Think one example is creation of universe. In Bible it is mentioned God created universe in 6 days and this and that, right? Not in detail. In Srimad Bhagavatam there is a chapters after chapter in Canto 3 for that. Someday we'll discuss. Today also a little bit we'll discuss. So a lot of things which were removed there. And like this one example, thou shall not kill. It was changed to thou shall not murder. When we say murder, it means only human being. But Bible originally used to say that thou shall not kill, not murder. But or for selfish reasons, for taste reasons, it was told like that. The same conversation was between Srila Prabhupada and Father Emmanuel in France I guess, Frankfurt, Germany, right? The similar conversation happened. So at the end, like Bhagavad Gita, so on the same line, like Bhagavad Gita takes for spiritually advanced people. Uh, it's not like it will stop you somewhere and then there is another religion, another text which can tell you after this thing. This is spiritual advance. You have knowledge of the good things, ethics, and all those things which is mentioned in other religion also. You can go ahead and this is higher knowledge, advanced course. Like after BTech, we do a tech. So like that. Okay, so we'll take it. So we'll start with today's class 2.28 and 2.29, which will cover. Recite after me. अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तम् अध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तानिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तानिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तानिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what is the void need is there for limitation? So, manifest मतलब क्या होता है किसी को पता? Is evident or proves itself. Proven itself. Manifest, no, that does not mean manifest. Manifestation means something else. Appeared, prakat hona, right, that thing, right, taking shape, like we'll see in the example. So let's go what Srila Prabhupada says that. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada says that accepting that there are two kinds of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and other not believing in the existence of soul, there is no cause of lamentation. Right? We discussed that in previous verse also. The people who believe in the existence of the soul, and there are people who don't believe in the existence of the soul. So now he also explains, Srila Prabhupada also explains that for argument's sake, we accept that, let's accept this atheistic theory, there is still no cause of lamentation because apart from the separate existence of the soul, the material element remain unmanifested before creation. And from the subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation. Right. So he gives some example. Just as ether air, just as from ether air is generated, from air fire is generated, from fire water is generated, and from water earth becomes manifested. We'll see even simpler example. Like, think of this building. At one time it was just land. All the raw material were nothing but raw material. Cement came from rocks. The bricks, it was nothing but mud. Right. And the iron beams or whatever, iron rods, everything was nothing but it was in the ores. It was in the form of ores. So everything was raw. Everything was in those elemental form. And then when the building was made, these all things were manifested, and in the end it became a building. Correct. And after this building will be destroyed like this somehow. Right. That will again become this. It's not dismantled, it's demolished. Right. So again it will become into the similar form. The cement will again become like soil and whatever, right? After some years, few years, 1,000, 2,000 years, it will again become its original state. So the whole world, it's not just the material thing. Take example of this mic. Once upon a time, it was nothing but some molecules which plastic was made, and then some iron, other things in the mic. I don't know what all constitute. And then it became a mic. After it is destroyed, thrown into some wasteland, or it goes for cycle, it will again unmanifest. So it was unmanifested in the starting, then manifested as a mic, and then at the end it will again become unmanifested. So he's saying that even if you don't believe in the existence of the soul, the body is like that. What was the body? When when a fetus is born, it is nothing but one cell, right? Two cells, you can say. One is from sperm, one from ovum. They combine two cells, and then slowly with the nutrients, with carbohydrate, fat, and all other building blocks, this body comes into picture. And when we die, either we are burnt or buried or whatever happens, or thrown into river, jo bhi ho, right? After some years, it will again get into the soil and become unmanifested. So he's saying that the body is like that. Your existence is like that. Even if you don't believe in the existence of the soul, the body is like that. So anyway, it is just manifested for a short amount of time. So what is there a need of lamentation? Because in the end, it will go into this unmanifested stage only. Right. So that is the law of conservation of energy. Unmanifestation, then manifestation, and then unmanifestation. The energy always remains right, constant. The law of conservation of energy, that is from our Shastra also, which scientists came to know in 19th century sometime. Right. So yeah, this is same thing you mentioned. Both at the beginning and at the end, the element, all elements remain manifested, and only in the middle they become manifested. And this does not make any real material difference. Very important line. Nothing actually changed. In matter wise, if you think, if I'm materialist, I'm thinking of not about a spiritual, I'm thinking about materialism, then the matter remains unchanged. Like a building block, the kids play with the blocks, right? They'll make something building, and then they'll again break, and it will become that block does not change. The same thing with the body also, it does not change. So there is no need of lamentation. That's what Krishna is trying to tell. It, the body is made of Panch Mahabhut, in the end it will become Panch Mahabhut. Then further he's saying, Srila Prabhupada is stating that material bodies are perishable in due course of time, but the soul is eternal. Then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of a dress? If body is like a dress, then you don't need to lament. So now he's coming to second philosophy. If we think of existence of the soul, then we understand that the body is nothing but a dress. So we don't lament for changing of dress, right? Oh, मैंने आज तो dress change कर दी, बहुत रो रहा है. ऐसा नहीं होता, right? Then why lament for the body? It he again further he mentions that It is something like a dream. We are seeing a dream, and when we in dream, we can see that we may think that we are flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot as a king. सारे सेवक आके they are giving us बढ़िया बढ़िया खाने पीने के लिए चीजें, एक हवा पंखा डुला रहे, कुछ लोग हाथ पैर दबा रहे, बढ़िया चैरियट पे सोने चांदी से भरे भरे चैरियट पे जा रहे, and then alarm बजा, हाँ, oh, I am not a king. I am still lower now, nowadays lower than middle class people. Right. So we'll come to realization. So like the body is also like that. In the body we think that we are me, I, and then after death no one remembers. ठीक है, तो कल कल के क्लास में बहुत बहुत ही थिंक टू पॉन्डर वाली चीज आई कल की क्लास में, हमारी हमारी क्लास में, कि हम इतना कुछ करते हैं अपने बच्चों के लिए, हम मतलब why do we earn money? Most of the time it is like okay, चलो कुछ इमरजेंसी फंड होगा, then we try to earn more कि एक घर लेंगे, दो घर लेंगे, चार घर लेंगे, क्यों इतना घर, आपको तो रहना ही घर में, अरे इसलिए कि हमारे बच्चे अच्छे से रहे, and then we don't even remember हमारे परदादा का नाम भी. How many of us remember? No. दो जनरेशन के बाद याद भी नहीं रहता है. And then we do so many things for our future generation and all those things. Then like कि इतना करते हैं and then we don't even realize कि अगर आप नहीं भी रोते तो भी they are not going to die by hunger. You are there, they are eating. You are not there, they are eating. It's not really going to change. But then because of our false ego, we think that we are doing for them. We are doing for them. एक अनाथ आश्रम में भी जो बच्चे रहते थे सर्वाइव, they are not going to die. But in this, that's a cycle of attachment. We keep getting entangled into attachment so much. अपने लिए करेंगे, अपने वाइफ के लिए करेंगे, अपने बच्चे के लिए करेंगे, फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए, उसमें फंसे रह जाते जिंदगी भर, और एक्चुअली अपने लिए जो रियल सेल्फ है उसके लिए हम कुछ भी नहीं करते, एंड इन द एंड पहुंच जाते हैं, फिर से वापस आते हैं, और फिर सेम साइकिल रिपीट्स. The cycle keeps going on. We don't realize that all souls are individual. Everyone has their own journey. Right. It's not us who can control their journey. कल को हम बना भी लेते हैं इतना, मान लीजिए मैंने 1 करोड़ रुपए इकट्ठा भी कर लिए, लेट्स से 1 करोड़ तो कम ही हो गया आजकल के जमाने के हिसाब से, उतने है भी नहीं, बट फिर भी लेट्स से ठीक है, 2-4 करोड़ इकट्ठा भी कर लिए कि मेरे बच्चे अच्छे से जिएंगे, वो करेंगे, और बैंक में बढ़िया आरडी बना के रखा है. कल को वॉर हो गया, कल को बैंक डूब गया, सब खत्म. व्हाट्स द यूज? We are not, first of all, we are not the controller. We think, and things don't go as per our plan. It can happen what God's decide. Right. But doing that, what we have actually wasted, that we can never get back. The money lost, शेयर मतलब शेयर मार्केट नीचे जाता है, 1 महीने 2 साल नीचे जाएगा, बहुत होगा तो फिर से वो ऊपर उठता है. That still can be recovered. Health, we got sick, right? We have some disease, that still we can still recover from that. But the time which we have lost accumulating the things which we actually don't need, can we ever get back? We don't know. But we will never get back, and we don't know what will happen after this life. अभी तो मनुष्य का जीवन मिला है, कल को घोड़ा, बकरी, भेड़, कुत्ता, बिल्ली, चूहा, ठीक, ये सब बन गए तो क्या, फिर तो हरि नाम भी नहीं सुनने को मिलेगा, जपना तो बहुत दूर की बात है. So we don't realize it. We get accumulated, we get entangled in the same thing. And कल का पूरा हमारा लेक्चर इस पे ही था कि 2 जनरेशन के बाद आपका नाम भी किसी को नहीं याद रहता है, और हम उनके लिए कर रहे हैं, सोच के बैठे रहे. इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि हमें कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए. Yes, हमें करना चाहिए, मतलब we may need money sometime, we may need things, but then don't get entangled into this only कि बस यही एक है कि हम जब 70 साल के हो जाएंगे तभी हम शुरू करेंगे, और 69 साल 360 दिन के हुए मर गए, हो गया शुरू, अगले जन्म में 70 का वेट करेंगे अगर हो पाए. राइट. सो that's the point. It's like a dream. It can end, and like a dream can end any point of time, right? Our life is also like that. It can end any point of time. Dream does not wait for the alarm. कभी कभी होता है कि बीच में नींद खुल जाती है, या अगर टॉयलेट जाना हो तो जल्दी से दौड़ के भागेंगे, नींद खुल गई, ड्रीम गया. So life is also like that. So we're talking about uh, the material creation, right? So it's not just the matter, it's not just the body. Even universe also follows the same pattern. At one point of time, universe is unmanifested. Then God made the universe. It become manifested. And at the end of when the pralay hota hai, the whole Brahman, the whole universe, it becomes unmanifested again. थोड़ा सा I'll not go into much deep thing, but what you are saying here is just as an example, जैसे मिट्टी का घड़ा, right? Earthen pot. It was nothing but mud. It was nothing but soil. Then the Kumhar he manifested it into the pot. Again, it is broken, thrown in the mud, thrown in the soil, मिट्टी में फेंक दिए, or after some days, some months, it will again become like soil. The universe is also like that. All these elements, what we see, which constitute the universe, that is part of Pradhan, unmanifested state. Right? It has not just the visible element, but also ahankar, intelligence, and all those things as well. Right? हमारे 24, it is made up of actually somewhere you will see 23, somewhere you will see 24, somewhere 25, 26, depending on what all things you are counting. Mostly 24 elements, which also includes our senses, our sense organs, the sense objects, right? The eight elements which we say, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kamana, Buddhiri, Vita, Ahankari, Tiyame, Vita, Prakriti, Vastana. That eight elements which constitute the gross body, then the subtle body. So, including all those, there are 24 elements which are part of the Pradhan. And that time it is unmanifested state. Then, when the universe is actually created, these all become manifested. Like slowly, the Brahmand comes out of the Lord Krishna. He expands himself into गर्भो दक्ष विष्णु महाविष्णु महाविष्णु के रोम से यूनिवर्स अंडे के फॉर्म में क्रिएट होता है राइट इट कम्स फ्रॉम हिज बॉडी वी हैव सीन दोस ऑल इमेजेस यू कैन सी ऑन द टॉप आल्सो राइट इट कम्स एज अ पार्ट ऑफ actually it's egg shaped it's a little circular spherical here but yeah from his room from his pulls the earth come and then in earth the Mahavishnu takes again expansion he becomes the Garbhodakshay Vishnu sorry Karudodakshay Vishnu and then Karudodakosan which is filling the each universe he will go and sit there and from his Navi then Brahmaji takes care and Brahmaji then he takes this Pradhan and he creates the the detailed part of it the universe like the Jeev uh, all the planets and everything. Right? He creates in the detailed manner all the Jeev and the material things. And at the time when his time is over, the Brahman's time is over, again with the help of Lord Rudra, Pralay happens and then this again becomes unmanifested and goes back. Those pradhan, those element that does not get lost, but it gets scattered, and then again in next universe it will become manifest again. So the cycle goes on. The same thing happens in the universe also, right? So that way it is eternal. The souls are also eternal. Now the question comes: what we should be doing in this manifested state? If we know that we were unmanifested at one point of time, then we become manifested in this body, then we'll become unmanifested again after death. Then what should we do at the time of manifestation? Should we not do anything? Because anyway, मरना तो वही unmanifest होना ही है तो क्या करना है चलो बैठे रहो पड़े रहो Netflix and chill. Should we do that? Or what we should be doing in the manifested state? We should inquire how to get out of this and to understand more about the Sat, absolute truth. What else? और क्या करना चाहिए? आपने इंक्वायर किया, आपने अंडरस्टैंड कर लिया, बस उसके बाद क्या? हाँ, हरि नाम स्मरणम मतलब इंक्वायर किया और आपको थ्योरी पता चल गई, then you have to practice it, right? to follow this. And then only it will make any sense. Otherwise, manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. We'll keep on going doing this. So we have to break the cycle, then we have to practice how we can get out of the cycle. But we'll discuss that in more detail after the next verse. So next verse is the amazing verse. It's even called the amazing verse. We'll see why it is called the amazing verse. So you can repeat after me. आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेन देखिए फिर से करेंगे आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत् चैनम् अन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् ठीक है अब फिर पुरानी टोन पे जाएंगे आई डोंट नो व्हाई आई रिमेंबर दिस टोन आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेन आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत् चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत् चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् Anyone from
पश्यति कश्चिदेन
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेन
तथैव
आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत् चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् Anyone from Madrasa? आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेन आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवत् चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् So translation by each divine is I see one thing that's on syllable part. Some look on the soul as amazing. Some describe him as amazing. And some hear of him as amazing. While others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. That's why it is amazing verse. Ascharyavat. Right. That's why it's called the amazing soul. Ascharyavat verse. Right. So, how to understand this? Again, we'll read that. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. तो यहाँ तीन वर्ब आए हैं पहले लाइन में पश्यति पश्यति मतलब देखना लुक सब लुक एट द सोल एज अ सेकंड लाइन में वदति वदति मींस टू स्पीक बोलना डिस्क्राइब करना एंड थर्ड लाइन में श्रृणोति श्रृणोति मतलब सुनना टू हियर राइट सो it is saying that the person who is looking at the soul looking not by your material eyes, right? But someone who is looking at the soul, that he thinks that it is amazing. Someone who is describing thinks that it is amazing, and someone who is hearing about it thinks that it is amazing. And that's why it is called amazing soul, because when you are looking, describing, listening about it, you become amazed, right? It is amazing. So people get amazed when they learn about the soul. And for us, it becomes like we are lucky that we are born into Sanatan Dharma, into India. So for us, it becomes a very, अरे soul तो सबको पता है. But when the people who have never heard about the soul, they actually they actually become very amazed. अरे soul होता है, ऐसा होता है. ठीक इतना कुछ करता है. मतलब we never knew about this thing, and they become very amazed about it. कि there can be such an entity, there can be such a thing which exists like this. Right. We'll see that how to understand this more and what are things. So in this world there are three things. The object for which it is being talked about. What are the object? The soul. Then the subject, who gets amazed. The person, anyone who is listening, anyone, that is a person. And doing what act they get amazed. Either they are looking at it, seeing it, or talking about it, describing it, or they are hearing about it. They get amazed. So there is a subject, English lesson. There is a subject, there is an object, and there is a verb. And the adjective is there. They get amazed. They get amazed. Right. So amazing is the adjective. So there are three ways we can actually understand this verse. One thing, the first way how we can understand this verse is if we think on the perspective of the object, about this, like on the perspective of the soul, how we can understand? Like some people look at the soul as amazing, that the soul is amazing, and some describe the soul as amazing, that the soul is amazing. Like they are describing, some looking at, okay, the soul is amazing. Some people they are describing the soul, it's a very amazing thing. Like in the class I'm describing, it's very amazing, right? And then some people who are hearing the soul, oh, what an amazing thing, like you and you people, right? You are listening about the soul and wow, what a thing it is. So the soul, on the perspective of soul, soul is amazing. Second way to understand, when we try to understand on the perspective of subject, that when someone, the person who is seeing the soul is amazing, the person who is seeing the soul, they are amazing. Amazing people who are seeing the soul. They are actually amazing. We cannot see the soul. Right? But someone who is actually able to see the soul, the spirit, they are amazing. Then the person who is describing the soul is amazing. Those persons who are describing the soul, they are telling the qualities of the soul, they are amazing people. And the person who is hearing about the soul is amazing. The people who are actually hearing about the soul, that I want to know more about the soul, let me try to learn about it, and they're hearing from someone. They're also amazing people. So, what an amazing people they are. What an amazing person he is. So, on the perspective of the person, also we can understand those people who wants to understand soul, who talk about the soul, who are seeing the soul, they are amazing people. Then the third way to understand is when we take the perspective of the action, that the action was seeing, describing, and hearing. Then someone is seeing the soul as with amazement. Like someone is seeing the soul, he's getting amazed. So the verb here is like the amazement comes because of the seeing. Right? Someone who describes the soul with amazement. Like, wow, I'm talking about something which very few people know. Right? The soul, it's such an amazing thing, right? So with amazement. The verb here, the verb is amazement. And he is hearing, or someone who is hearing about the soul with amazement. Okay, like I'm getting amazed about like hearing about it. So that those are the three ways we can actually describe. So any question till now? Good doubt? Right. So those are the three ways we can understand the soul. So the summary here is the soul is amazing because soul is anyway amazing. The people who are involved in the knowledge of soul, whether distributing or listening, they are amazing. And the action, even doing these things are amazing. Seeing the soul, describing about the soul and hearing about the soul. The accents are also amazing, right? So these three ways we can understand. Now, so many amazing things. What is so amazing? Soul. Huh? Why soul is?
After doing all this, you cannot understand the soul.
That will come later. We'll discuss that also. Right? Then also we cannot understand the soul. So let's see what is so amazing. What Srila Prabhupada says that. So the fact that first in the first line, the Gita Upanishad is largely based on principle of Upanishad. So the similar verse is found in Katha Upanishad also in 1.2.7, where it is written, "He of whom many are not even able to hear, whom many even when they hear about him do not comprehend. Wonderful is the man when found who is able to teach him. Wonderful is who compliments him when taught by an able teacher." Well, there are people who are not able to even hear about the soul, right? Understanding is anyway after that. Then there are some kind of people who, even after hearing about the soul, they cannot understand it, they cannot comprehend it, right? So there are people who do not have knowledge of the soul, and then there are people who have the knowledge of soul, but they still cannot understand it. Then wonderful are the amazing or the wonderful are those people who are able to hear about the soul, who are able to find the soul. There is something called soul. And even wonderful are those people who are able to talk about the soul. There is something called soul. And who can understand the soul by which is being taught by the able teacher, which is coming from the parampara. Right? They are wonderful people. So that comes into Katha Upanishad. Same thing comes. So Srila Prabhupada says that now what is so amazing about it? So he writes that the fact that the atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, and also in the microbes, billions and billions of which occupy only an inch of the space, is certainly very amazing. Right? So the soul is amazing. Now let's discuss the first part of this. When the object is amazing, the soul. Why soul is amazing? It's not, it is found in all the microbes also. The microbes which you use the powerful microscopes to see, they are that small. We cannot even see by naked eyes. We need the not the most powerful, but at least we need a good quality microscope to see the microbe. Right, like you can see those bacteria here. They are even part of those microbes. Isn't that amazing? And not only that, they are also part of the biggest animals. They are not just running the smaller microbes, but they are running the biggest animals like blue whale in the elephants, and in the older times, in the ancient time when dinosaurs and all, even they were running the dinosaurs and all those biggest creatures. Not only that, even the biggest of tree, the great sycamore tree which is found in USA, that goes up to 300, 350 feet high. Even one tiny part, what is the size of the soul? One by 10,000 of the tip of the hair. Right. Running this 300 feet high tree. That small soul, which cannot be even be comprehend kitna chota hai. And this is running the whole body. From the smallest microscope to biggest of the creature. This biggest sycamore tree. One small entity. Isn't that amazing? Like think of it, we have a cell, double A cell or triple A cell. How much at the max you can run? A pencil torch, a torch max, right? Two cells are needed just to run this mic. Right? Can it run the whole society? Hyderabad? No, right? But this is small, very, very tiny soul is running the biggest of the creature. Isn't that amazing? Right? The soul is amazing. And it is found everywhere. Like Srila Prabhupada is saying here, even an inch of a land, there are billions of microbes. And that means there are billions of souls, even on an inch of the land. Right? Isn't that amazing? How many souls are there? Right? Who's running the soul? So all the creatures everywhere it is found. It keeps going from one body to another body also. It gets transmuted from one body to another, from microbe to again maybe a little bigger body, then from human to ant. बहुत मारा था ant को, अगले जन्म में ant बनेंगे, right? But the size of soul does not change. Isn't that amazing? The size always remains same. चाहे वो elephant का soul हो, चाहे वो एक microbe का soul हो, चाहे वो great sequoia tree का soul हो. It always remains same. 1/10,000 tip of the hair, right? That is amazing. It does not get affected by which body it is going. Not only the size does not change. Every animal, if you see body wise, they have a different kind of characteristics. Right? If there is a lion, the characteristic will be to be a fearsome animal, right? Violent, they'll be ready to eat, hunting, killing nature. If they are cow, the, the cow by nature it will be very calm and cool, it will never hurt anyone. Nowadays some cows hurt. Right, अगर आप पीछे जाओगे तो एक लात पड़ेगी. But generally, ठीक, I'm talking generally. Right, they will never hurt anyone. But the soul's property does not change which body it is in. चाहे वो एक बहुत ही बड़े क्रिमिनल के अंदर का सोल हो, चाहे वो बहुत ही सबसे सौम्य आदमी के अंदर का सोल हो, it always remains same. That does not, the properties of the soul, it does not get influenced by what kind of body it is in. Isn't that amazing? When we, as a person, you can see like humans are also like that. When actually we are not. You are here in the class, you are in the kind of sattva mode. Go to the bar and your mode becomes completely changed. We get influenced by the environment. We get influenced by the people we are living with. The kind of sangha we are having, that changes, that influences our life in a big, big way. Right? If someone is living with the criminals or someone, let's not talk about criminal, someone is living with only the materialistic people, जिस दिन भर अरे यार ये कार आई, अरे यार यहाँ पे इतने करोड़ का घर मिल रहा है, ओह आज तो मुझे इतना बोनस मिला, इतना पैसा होगा, then you will also start thinking about like that. Rather, you are living with someone or you are spending time with someone who are talking about भगवान के बारे में कैसे निकलना है, chanting करना है, then your mind will also start thinking about that. But soul does not get affected by this. Right? That is amazing. Then qualities of the soul. Soul is always full of bliss. These are all the qualities mentioned we have already discussed: unbreakable, eternal, immovable, all those things, not be able to be tried, and all those things, right? But one important part of the soul is it is always full of bliss. Isn't that amazing? Have you ever seen someone, any creature who is always happy? Which is always happy? It's not possible if we try to think practically. No one is always happy. But the soul is always happy. So, uh, in this particular story, so Srila Prabhupada, when he went to USA, he first get into contact with the hippies. Hippies, we know, like they were drug addicts, alcoholics. They used to live very dirty, long hair, braided, right, and all those kind of things, which like exact opposite of all four regulative principles they used to do. All those things, right? They will have illicit sex, they will have alcohol, they will have nasa, intoxication, and they will eat meat, right? They will do exact opposite of all those things. So, a reporter once he asked Srila Prabhupada in the starting when he went there, can you show me a miracle? Because that time the Baba, the yogis who used to go to USA, they were showing some miracle. That people, wow, amazing. Right, the amazing thing used to come. Right, so reporter thought, one another Baba, can you show me miracle? Unique one, which is not shown by anyone. So Srila Prabhupada told that, I cannot show you any miracle which you are expecting. I don't have that kind of thing which I can show. But I have a special kind of miracle. So he said, what miracle did you do? He said, I made those hippies into happies. Those frustrated souls who were living life not king size, but in a worst possible manner, he made those people shave their head, start wearing good clothes, eating only prasadam, start doing chanting. So he made the hippies into happies. What can be a bigger miracle than that? The maximum miracle what other yogis can do, move some things here to there, थोड़ा हवा में उड़ा देंगे, ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे. But what can be a bigger miracle than changing the people who were exact opposite to what we wanted them to be? That's the biggest miracle. And these people then become happy. Right? They were always full of happiness. The way they used to dance, we cannot even imagine. When Rath Yatra started in San Francisco, there were यहाँ पे रथ यात्रा में क्या करते हैं? यहाँ तो सबको पता है रथ यात्रा के बारे में, जगन्नाथ जी के बारे में, everyone, right? Hardly how many people came? 2000. There, when Rath Yatra started, there were more than 1 lakh people in those Rath Yatras. Then think of that is San Francisco. That's not India, right? जैसे जैसे बढ़ते गया तो लाखों लोग रथ यात्रा में जुड़ गए. When you see those pictures, you'll be amazed. I think these are like sea of pool of people. That many. So that's a miracle. So that's one way to understand that the people are also amazing, like you people. How many people are living? So we had a Sangha matter today. So we were just discussing how many people are living in this Seriligampalli area. It was around 2 to 3 lakh people. How many are sitting in our classes? That's why you people are also amazing. The people who want to know about the soul, they are also amazing. Right? That is the second way to understand that. Otherwise, लोग है ना, कोई नेटफ्लिक्स देख रहा है, कोई मैच देख रहा होगा, कोई मॉल जाने की तैयारी कर रहा होगा. There are people. So, because these people are very few, they are amazing. Who wants to know about the soul? I'm just repeating what I heard. Not great then. I'm also audience. Right? So you people are also amazing because think in another way. कि don't your friends, your relative think that you are amazing? They might say, अरे क्या तुम 2 घंटे 4 घंटे वहां बैठे रहते हो, क्या दिन भर चैंटिंग करते रहते हो, हरे कृष्णा हरे, क्या होगा उससे? आओ यार, चलो हमारे साथ मॉल में थोड़ा घूमते हैं, थोड़ा बाहर में चलते हैं, पीते खाते हैं कुछ. क्या टाइम पास करो, वेस्ट करो, अभी तो ऊपर ही क्या है तुम्हारे. डोंट दे थिंक यू आर अमेजिंग इन दैट वे, इन अ नेगेटिव वे. पागल मतलब अमेजिंग, थोड़ा आप नेगेटिव वे में भी सोच सकते हैं, क्या पागल हो गए क्या अभी से. So you are amazing even after those all things. You keep on doing this. So otherwise you could have also enjoyed like live life king size. You only live once, right? All those things. But yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord also explains the same thing. Manusya Nam Sahasresu. Well, there are 1 in 1,000 who will actually try to find the real. Um, who is trying to find the truth, the real truth. Right? And out of those thousands of people, there will be one who will try to actually find me, who will try to understand me. Right? So they are that rare. And you can actually have the sample size here itself. So amazing. Right. So the people are also amazing who are hearing about the soul, who are describing about the soul, and who are looking at the soul. None of us are looking at the soul, but think of it. We are looking at the soul in our Paramatma. Like that is inside us. And yes. So the people are also amazing. And the act is also amazing. Right? The action, the third way, the action is also amazing. The action is seeing, hearing, and describing. Because think about it, everyone knows about the soul. Right? जब से हम पैदा होते हैं तब से हम जानते हैं सोल नाम की एक चीज होती है और सोल इटर्नल होता है, इट नेवर डाइज एंड ऑल द थिंग. बचपन में पढ़ा है, बचपन नैनम छिंदन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनम दहति पावक, बचपन से पढ़ते आ रहे हैं. राइट? सबको पता है सोल के बारे में. But how many of us follow? So the act also is amazing. A lot of time happens with us like if someone is talking about soul, अरे अरे ठीक है, सोल के बारे में पता है, थोड़ा आगे वाला बताऊंगा. We try to think like हम सबके मन में आता है कि कोई कहानी सुनाई, and then अरे ऐसा प्रहलाद महाराज वाली स्टोरी थी, वो तो हमको पता है, ठीक है. Then our mind goes somewhere else. ठीक है, जब तक सुनाएंगे तब तक हम कुछ और to do list बनाते हैं और कुछ करते हैं. But That's not the way to. We discussed that before also. That's not the way to understand spiritual knowledge. And what is the way? That is actually set up by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. Right? He showed a way how to understand the spiritual knowledge. So one of associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit is considered, or he is actually the appeared. Radha Rani appeared as Gadadhar Pandit. So Gadadhar Pandit was very amazing speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. When he used to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, everyone would like stop doing what they're doing and they start listening to him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Gadadhar Pandit and he asked, tell me the story of Prithu Maharaj. So Gadadhar Pandit told him from Srimad Bhagavatam the story of Prithu Maharaj. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard with full amazement, with full concentration, with like wow, like he's hearing it the first time. Right? He heard it with the full amazement. Then he says, okay, tell me again. Right? Then again Gadadhar Pandit told. And again the same time he heard, like he's hearing the first time. He heard it with the full amazement. And guess how many times? And then he said, tell me again. Guess how many times this would have happened? Realistic guess, please. Huh? Full day to ठीक है. I'm not talking about day. How many times? Any wild guess? Actually, it's 108 times. He heard the same story with the full amazement, with the full enthusiasm, 108 times continuously, without eating, without drinking anything. That's the way we should have spiritual knowledge. When we think that, अरे ये तो हमें पहले से पता है, our mind blocks. It stops immediately. We will stop hearing and understanding about things. Right. So even the basic lecture comes when you hear, you should try to, because you'll always get a new thing. You should try to we should all try to understand with the full concentration, with the full enthusiasm. That's the way how we can get spiritual knowledge. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard 108 times. Because those who have developed taste for spiritual knowledge would hear, speak, and look at the philosophy with amazement. If someone is not developed the taste, or they don't want to develop the taste, you tell them this 108 times, they will not understand a single thing about the same thing about the soul. But you are hearing, you are listening, that means you are developing the taste, or you have developed the taste, right? Slowly. And that's the way we can actually get to the higher taste. There is something called higher taste, which takes all the inferior taste thrown out. We, maybe in devices this would have been discussed. When people will start taking a better thing, when you are giving them a better alternative, let's say someone is eating non-veg, you are giving them a vegetarian dish which is amazing, which is so tasty that non-veg is nothing in front of it. Chicken tikka to फेंको कूड़े में, मतलब इतना शानदार जो भी vegetarian dish है, पनीर टिक्का मसाला, they'll forget about chicken tikka, right? Then they get the higher taste, they will not go for the lower taste. A simple example could be the kids who are running the tricycle, चलाते हैं जब तक उनका होता है, जब साइकिल पे आ जाते हैं, they're like, अरे ये कौन चलाएगा? We'll only ride on the bicycle, because they got the higher taste. So because we are getting the higher taste, the taste of the higher understanding, the spiritual understanding. That's why we can at that point of time only we can hear, speak, and understand this philosophy with the amazement. Otherwise it's not possible, and we'll never get tired. It will always look fresh when we do this. That and that is amazing thing. That is amazing thing. Think of a scenario. Every morning एक बॉलीवुड का गाना, आप रोज सुबह उठते हो बॉलीवुड का गाना सुनते हो. How many months can you hear the same song again and again and again? Days, month, 40 साल. बट आप वही टेम्पल पे जाते हो, रोज सेम वही मंगला आरती होती है, and you actually enjoy it. Same मंगला आरती, nothing changes. Same way of doing aarti, same speak, same tone also. But here people don't get bored. That's a spiritual thing. That's a higher taste. Right? It takes all the lower taste. क्या बोल सकते हैं मतलब बेकार right useless. So now coming to the point which we are discussing, still after having all the knowledge, there are people who cannot understand the soul. Right? Who are those people who cannot understand the soul? Let's discuss about that. So first category of people are this: the people who are so much engrossed into material life कि अभी घर बनाना है, अरे अभी तो टाइम नहीं हुआ है, अभी आई हैव टू टेक वन मोर होम, अभी 2 BHK है, आई हैव टू टेक 3 BHK, दैट मींस आई हैव टू टेक 1 crore लोन, आई हैव टू अर्न मोर, आई डोंट हैव टाइम. एक बार 3 BHK आ गया, देन 4 BHK और विला, विला आ गया तो दूसरा हो. राइट? अभी मेरी सैलरी की 30 लाख है तो 40 करना है, 50 करना है, 60 करना है. आई विल वर्क लाइक एन एस एंड देन my manager will see, my director will see someday when he sees my hard work, and then he'll give me promotion. Given that उससे पहले लात मार के भगा नहीं दिया कंपनी ने, ठीक, जॉब का, तो work life. So when we are so much engrossed into money, getting all the awards and recognition in life, or third क्या ही बोले उसके बारे में, ठीक, the joyful life. तुम्हें बोलना है? He's a nerd. बाल उड़ गया, देखो उसके बाल उड़ गए सोच सोच के. He is a nerd. Right? So someone who is very much engrossed into materialistic life, they don't have time to search for the real truth, search for the higher taste, search for the God. Right? And isn't that amazing? If people say I don't have time to read about Bhagavad Gita. I don't have time to come to the classes. That is also an amazing thing. Right? Then the second category of people are Mayavadis. They know about the soul. Right? They understand there is something called soul, but still they think that one day the soul will merge into Brahman and they'll become Ishwar. That is also an amazing thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Varanasi, so he was staying at the home of Chandrasekhar Prabhu. There was a great devotee Chandrasekhar, his name was Chandrasekhar. And at that point of time, the Varanasi was hub of Mayavadis. Still it is, but that point of time, it was like you will only find Mayavadis there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first he did not want to. They all want to. बड़े सन्यासी हैं, he should come to us. हम उनको respect देंगे, will. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give any bow to them. That he was like, I don't care, ignored completely. So when he came back from Vrindavan, again he stayed in Varanasi at Chandrasekhar Prabhu's home, and then Chandrasekhar Prabhu told like they want to meet you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, okay, let me utilize this opportunity. This time he showed mercy, and let me utilize this opportunity and tell them the real knowledge. So he goes and went. All the Mayavadis were sitting. There was one, the bigger one, who was sitting on the high chair, and then all were sitting around him. Where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, he went और जहाँ पे गायों को पानी देते हैं ना, हाथ पैर धोने का पानी होता है, he sat there कि वहाँ पे बैठे और नीचे जाके जमीन पे. So the person, क्या उनका नाम था? परमहंस? नहीं केशव भारती नहीं. ठीक है, मुझे नाम नहीं आता. We discussed that. I forgot his name. Right. So the person who called him and he told कि अरे आप नीचे क्यों बैठे, आप आइए मेरे पास बैठिए, ठीक है, आप इतने बड़े सन्यासी हैं. सर नहीं नहीं, मेरी जगह तो यही है, आप लोग बड़े सन्यासी हैं, यू आर डूइंग द मेडिटेशन, इन द एंड यू विल गेट मर्ज्ड इनटू ब्रह्मन. मेरा लेवल क्या है, मैं तो बस जगह जगह घूम के संकीर्तन करता हूँ, तो हु एम आई एम लाइक नथिंग इन कंपेयर टू यू गाइस. राइट? बट हुआ क्या कि when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Krishna, right? So Krishna means he is having high effulgence, and Mayavadis actually get attracted with effulgence. अगर आपके अराउंड ऑरा है, ठीक है, थोड़े तेज निकल रहा है, तो they will get attracted. So when they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu के बॉडी से तेज निकल रहा, देखो, अरे अरे कोई तो बड़ा आदमी आया, बड़े सिद्ध पुरुष आए, तो इनको तो ऊपर ही बैठाना, वहां नहीं बैठाएंगे. Right? So they are saying. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, मतलब he came, and then after a lot of requests he sat there, And then they started discussing. वहाँ पे शास्त्रार्थ हुआ, and he defeated all of them, and they all became his follower later on. Right? So the Mayavadis, they cannot understand. It's very difficult for them to understand between the soul and the super soul, because their philosophy is like it will get merged. We are gods without apostrophe, right? So that's a very difficult problem. And then there is a third category, the atheistic people. This is even more amazing, right? There is a whole lot of tons of abundance about the existence of the soul. There has been scientific study, there have been research paper, right? But still they don't believe on the existence of the soul. Forget about God, right? I'm not even talking about God. They are like in science we trust, right? And then when someone will say, okay, make a jeep, I'm giving you nitrogen, I'm giving you oxygen, I'm giving you all the material you can extract and then make a soul, make a jeep. That they can't do. All they need is stem cells, जो पहले भगवान ने भेज दिया बना के. Right. So in science we trust there. So that is even more amazing that atheists, even after having this much of evidence, they don't believe in the existence of the soul. Right. In science we trust. So Srila Prabhupada says that misguided by the acceptance of the super soul and atomic soul as one without distinction of magnitude. Right. Those are the some people who cannot actually understand or who are ignored of the real understanding of the soul. And it is still more difficult to find a man who actually derives full benefit from the knowledge of the soul and who is able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. But if somehow or other one is able to understand subject matter of the soul, one's life is successful. That is the formula of successful life. When we start understanding about the soul, the real understanding, the real meaning, the real position of us, then only we can say we are successful. Material success, अभी हमने डिस्कस किया ना, 2 जनरेशन आपका नाम भी नहीं याद रहेगा आपके बच्चे के बच्चों को. I don't know who, मतलब I know my name of my grandfather, but I have never met him. मतलब he passed away when my father was a young kid. Young मतलब 10-12 years, right? तो मैं नहीं जानता हूँ. तो I have no idea, बस नाम जानते हैं. और उनके पापा का नाम तो मुझे याद नहीं. किसके लिए कौन क्या बना रहा है? Right. So that's the point we should understand. So our life is material success does not matter. Now, then what matters? The easiest process of understanding the subject matter of self, however, is to accept the statements from Bhagavad Gita, the Sabda Praman, is spoken by the greatest authority, Lord Krishna, without being deviated from other theories. So, again, taking a line from your yesterday's lecture, कि अगर if someone does not, मतलब whom should we trust? If I want to know about someone, कहाँ पे हमें किससे पूछना चाहिए? Whom do you think? If I want to know about Sai Ram Prabhu ji, and Sai Ram Prabhu ji, I want to know everything about him, then where should I go? Whom should I ask? Exactly, him only. I cannot ask Ritesh Prabhu or Sanjay Prabhu, आप मुझे Sai Ram Prabhu के बारे में सब कुछ बताओ. They cannot tell. Even if I ask Mata ji also, right, कि आप मुझे Sai Ram Prabhu के बारे में सब कुछ बताइए, even she cannot describe everything about Sai Ram Prabhu. Right, so who can tell the best thing about or the complete thing about himself? That is the person himself. And here the God is talking, in the Bhagavad Gita, God is talking that I am God, and people say I don't believe. Isn't that amazing? That is also amazing thing. Right. ये बंदा बता रहा है कि मैं हूँ, नहीं मैं तो विश्वास नहीं करूँगा. ऐसे कैसे? How can you say? Right. So that is also amazing thing. That's amazing thing about atheist. So the most authentic way to understand about the soul, about the God is learning from the God himself. That is Bhagavad Gita. Now, not only material things, body and all those things, but not only spiritual things that are amazing. We're talking about the soul is amazing, the spiritual people are amazing, the spiritual preachers are amazing. But actually, everything in this world is amazing. Not only the spiritual thing. But everything, even material things, are amazing. How we can understand that? Isn't this body amazing? This is matter. See how complex this body is. So many systems, digestive system, nervous system, circulatory system, this and that. Such a complex body doing so many things. Isn't that amazing? Take a part of the body, eye. How complex the structure is. Millions of cones and rod cells separating millions of colors, right? Dark mode, light mode, whatever mode mobile you can have, you can see that. Right? Billions of colors you can see with these eyes. So even seeing the structure of the eye, you'll feel amazing. Wow, what an amazing thing this is. This is amazing. And even when you go lower than the eye, a single cell of a body, that small cell जिसको देखने के लिए भी you need a microscope. It has so many things. It has a nucleus, it has mitochondria, Golgi body, and so many things. A single cell runs itself like a powerhouse. The mitochondria gives ATP and it runs the cell. Such a small cell has a nucleus which has the chromosomes and it contains so much information that even the biggest of the supercomputers together cannot contain that much information. Isn't that amazing? How God has created those kind of things in such a compact space. अभी हम अगर हार्ड डिस्क खरीदने जाए 500 जीबी का तो इतना बड़ा तो कम से कम चाहिए. छोटा होते होते भी कम से कम दिखेगा. Right. But this has 1,000 lakh times of more information in a single chromosome जो हम देख भी नहीं सकते यहाँ से. Isn't that amazing? So everything, every material thing, even the material things are amazing. This is the atom, electrons and neutrons. Right. The electrons, protons, neutrons, they are revolving around the nucleus of the atom, and all those things are happening. Right. Electron microscope cannot even see the only till atom level they can see. That is also amazing. And not only that, you can go to the higher level, solar system or the galaxy level. The galaxies revolving around each other. From the smallest part of the existence, materially I'm talking, right? From the atom, quarks, to the biggest of the galaxies, they are revolving around each other. Isn't that amazing? Everyone following similar thing. Right? All revolves around each other. Right? So these all things are amazing. And the most amazing thing in the world is, what is the most amazing thing in the world? What do you think is? Creator is amazing, no doubt about it. But what is the most amazing thing in our, from our perspective? Think of at our level. What is the most amazing thing? मतलब kind of that. So a story comes कि एक बार सारे पांडव एक एक करके पानी लेने गए and all died one by one. Then last में Yudhishthir Maharaj reaches. There was one swan. He was saying, "Don't drink water." So everyone ignored, so all died. He was saying, like, if you drink water, you have to either answer my question. If you drink water, you will die. So everyone ignored, so they died. Then last week, Yudhishthir Maharaj stood and went and he saw that all his brothers had died. And the swan again told the same thing. He answer my questions or you will also die like your brother. So he said, okay, I will not drink water. Let me first answer the question. So the conversation happened. And one of the questions, that is the conversation between that person who is nothing but Yamaraj and Yudhishthir. So Yamaraj asked one of the question, what is the most amazing thing in the world? Right. Within the world. So he, Maharaj Yudhishthir answered, Ahani 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 putani ganchanti yamayalayam shesha sthavaram icchanti kim ascharyam atarparam. Every day people are dying in this world. Thousands of lakhs of people are dying in this world. But still people who are living, they think that they will not die. Right? How many of us think that we will not die? How many of us think that we will not die? आप लोग को लगता है कि हम लोग मरेंगे, right? By theory. Now let me prove that you think you will not die. What you will do after going from the class? Are you going to the mall? Okay. Wait, what is the plan? मतलब what do you do after going to the class? After going from the class? हाँ? बताइए क्या प्लान है? मतलब ये प्लान ही है कि घर के कामों में लग जाना. एक्चुअली हमें नमित को लेके डेंटिस्ट के पास जाना है. तो दैट इज द प्लान. आपका क्या प्लान? Household chores. Right? We are making plan. That means we don't think we'll die. हमें नहीं पता नेक्स्ट मोमेंट में हम जिंदा रहेंगे. We are making plan. That means we know that we'll not die. That's why we are making plans. अपॉइंटमेंट लेके बैठे डॉक्टर का 3 बजे और 2:55 पे चलेगा तो गया अपॉइंटमेंट. Right. So we never think that every day people are dying, but still we think we'll not die. Right. हमारा भी अनिश्चित ही है. उसका तो छोड़. हाँ उसका ओके. मुझे लगा डॉक्टर का बोल रहे. यमराज का. यमराज का. अब पता नहीं. अब इस स्टेज पे तो यमराज के रिश्ते आएंगे. अभी हम उस स्टेज पे नहीं कि विष्णु दूत आएंगे 4 हाथ लेके. चलो बेटा बहुत दूर है वहां से. अभी तो यमराज के दूत ही डंडा लेके आए. चल साले मार रहे. ठीक नो कर्स वर्ड. सॉरी. ठीक तो हाँ. अब जब उस स्टेज पे आएंगे वही हमें पहुंचना है कि कभी प्रभुपाद लेके जाए. उनकी धोती पकड़ के हम पीछे पीछे निकल जाए. So genuine spiritualist always glorifies the Lord. So when we think, what is the context of this? That when we see something amazing, what do? कुछ अमेजिंग हुआ. किसी ने आपने देखा कि अरे यार क्या क्या जबरदस्त काम किया उसने. क्या शॉट मारा उसने. या फिर आपने कोई लेक्चर सुना. क्या जबरदस्त लेक्चर था. What do? We glorify that person who did that thing. Right. And that's what genuine spiritualists do. They glorify the things. When they see something amazing about the soul, about the people, about spiritual knowledge, all those things, they glorify them. And so those who are thoughtful, intelligent seeker, they truly be astonished the way God has created this amazing world. And glorifying what? Glorifying God. Because we see everywhere, we saw that everything is amazing. If everything is amazing, why everything is amazing? Because God is amazing who has made these amazing things. So we glorify the God. And how can we glorify the God? What is the way that we can glorify the God? One way is chanting. Right. So now coming to the question, the last part of the session. Coming to the question. What we should be doing about this was the question. Now we'll combine those two verses together and have the question. Any question before that? No? So we'll combine those questions. So what we should be doing about this amazing knowledge which we are getting from our parampara, right? In this manifestation stage, what should we do? क्या करना चाहिए? पढ़े, रटे, मर जाए. Huh? What should we do? Should follow, practice. We should practice, okay? And what all things in the practice? You have the knowledge, you got some great knowledge. What would you do? One thing is you will follow, okay? What other thing? एक होता है ना मतलब कंपनी में. I'll give one simple example. कंपनी ने किसी ने नया टूल आया था उससे सीख लिया. ठीक. Now he's like I'm the boss. I learned the latest IoT technology. What he will do? What management expects him to do? What he will do is so important है. What management expects him to do? How to pass the knowledge, right? So if we get some amazing knowledge from this amazing verse, then what should we do? To pass the knowledge, distribute the knowledge, and how we can do that. And even Lord says that the same thing in 18.64. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. Even Lord gives his guarantee. You pass the knowledge, you distribute the knowledge, तो हमें यमराज का वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा या यमदूतों का. शायद विष्णु दूत आएंगे हमें ले जाने के लिए, या प्रभुपाद खुद आएंगे हमें ले जाने के लिए, या हमारे गुरु महाराज. Right. So how we can do that? Correct. That's how we can do that. That's the easiest way to distribute the knowledge. Hardest way is also there. I will sit down, you come to here. That's a little harder way. That eventually every one of us have to do. Right? Not today, but tomorrow, someday. But for now, what we can do? We have to distribute the books. If we know that amazing knowledge, that's the way we have to spread the amazing knowledge. A lot of us, right, have been connected to these classes, to this knowledge because of the book distribution. Right. आप में से कितने लोग मतलब यहाँ बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के थ्रू कनेक्ट और कोई नहीं हमारे शिव शंकर प्रभु जी आज नहीं आए हैं बट ही इज द वन दिस फोटो इज यू कैन सी वी मेट हिम we met him in front of this there's a Chandanagar there's a Venkateswar Swami temple. Like we were doing book distribution. He came, we met him, he took Bhagavad Gita also, you can see in the picture, couple of books, right, and Krishna book. And then he started attending the classes. And there are so many people like that. And even if they are not attending the classes, they will have the knowledge accessible to them. Right. So that's the best way to spread the knowledge, that amazing knowledge. Right. And we are having the book marathon. The opportunity is just in front of us. This month itself at the end it will start. And we all know that we already have a group in place. So हम में से कितने लोगों ने ग्रुप ज्वाइन किया है? तो जिन्होंने नहीं ज्वाइन किया है, you also take the opportunity, join the group, be part of one team. You don't have to do it daily, right? At least do once, do twice, once in a week, once in a month. इतना तो टाइम निकल जाता है ना. Let's say you are not able to come for the book distribution. You can take the books and distribute in your office. No one can stop you doing that. You can give the books to those people. नीचे security guard रहते थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ते but they don't have the money to buy. But you can do that. You can give to your relatives, your friends. इतना तुम कर ही सकते हैं. It's not like जब तक आप 1000 book नहीं बांटोगे तब तक you are not distributor. No. Even if one person you are giving the knowledge, you are spreading the knowledge. You are doing that devotional service. So take that opportunity. If someone has not registered, register, join the group because it will start very soon. Right. So let's be aware. Let's be available for whatever time we can do. Right. And do the book distribution. Even Kanha gets available. उसके पास choice we can. That's another thing. But even he does that. उसको हम सिखाते हैं जाओ बोलो रामायण ले लो भगवद गीता ले लो आज तक किसी ने उससे लिया हो सकता है लिया हो एक आध दो ने but he also does that every time he goes with us he loves doing that कभी हम नहीं जाते तो आज बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं होगा मम्मी तो that we should all do that is all parampara that is actually all parampara right Srila Prabhupada used to say that this book distribution is the most important task in our society. Therefore, I'm giving so much stress and I'm working so hard on this because this is my life and soul, according to the order of my Guru Maharaj. His Guru Maharaj told, distribute books, distribute the knowledge, and he is doing the same thing. Right? And by his grace, it is to some extent successful. I took it seriously. I take it seriously now. That is my life and soul. So, very important thing is like we do not need to have a success criteria. कि यार हमने किया इतने लोग से कांटेक्ट की किसी ने बुक नहीं लिया does not matter end counting matter नहीं करती है your intent matters you are doing wholeheartedly for the service of the Lord आप भगवान के लिए कर रहे हो your relationship is between you and the God it's not with us or not with the IVCC के numbers से it is with you and God sees that what is your intent you took out some time and you did it for the good things. That is the only thing which matters. Right. So that's a life and soul, like Srila Prabhupada says that. In another line, he says that distribution of books and magazine is the most important activity because without books, our preaching has no solid basis. If there is no book, तो people तो कुछ भी पढ़ेंगे ना. ठीक. So that is a higher taste. The book is the higher taste. Sidney Sheldon के knowledge से अच्छा है कि ये book पढ़ना, or any other knowledge. For that matter. Right. And regarding Sankirtan and book distribution is also chanting. We have to understand that. Chanting is not just doing the 16 round, but book distribution is also chanting. ये भी संकीर्तन ही है. Anyone who reads the books is also chanting and hearing. Chanting मतलब होता क्या है? भगवान को याद करना. If someone is reading those books, they are remembering God. That is chanting. If I'm distributing book, Ramayana, Lilo, Krishna, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, I'm taking the name of God. Isn't that chanting? That is chanting. राइट समझ रहे मेरे पास तो कृष्णा बुक है फिर कृष्णा का नाम लिया वो भी चैंटिंग कर रहा है राइट और समवन हु सीज दैट मन में एक बार सोचेगा वो भी चैंटिंग कर रहा है सो दिस इज अ संकीर्तन सो व्हाई डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन चैंटिंग एंड द बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन दिस इज आल्सो चैंटिंग दैट डज नॉट मीन कि 2 राउंड कम करके बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करेंगे ठीक इसका ये मतलब बिल्कुल नहीं है राइट दैट इज समथिंग फिक्स मतलब फिक्स राइट सो yeah so the book distribution must not be neglected. And at the end, Srila Prabhupada's request that I want that you, like his Guru Maharaja gave him instruction to distribute the knowledge, even Srila Prabhupada is instructing us to do that. I want that you, all my students, shall very vigorously try for this book distribution. This is his instruction, and this is our duty to follow his instruction. Whatever way we can, whatever small part we can, but we all must try for them. Right, so we'll share the link again in the group और जिसने भी नहीं ज्वाइन किया है आप ज्वाइन करिए take out some time right if not outside do it in your office give it to your relative give to your neighbor सबसे simple इतना तो कर ही सकते right so whatever you can then you'll get the taste of it आप slowly शुरू करिए but you'll actually be start loving it okay so any question no with that we'll finish वाचाकरुणस्य कृपासिन्धुभ्यं च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृत्ति की जय सर्वप्रभात की जय